in the Western Conference, like sitting at like up top at the number one spot in the West currently is the Lakers, surprising basically no one. Um, I don't know. They just let me look at their let me pull up their numbers. But it's just like it's one of the things that don't really require questioning.
Exactly, it's like LeBron and AD. Yeah, as long as they're healthy, they'll be fine.
Like what? AD is averaging 22, LeBron's averaging 24, Schroeder's averaging 14, Kuzma 10, Harrell 12. Gasol's basically just there to rebound and get assists and play defense, of course. But
Yeah,
like it, I mean, it's a slightly different team from last year, but it's just like they're a good team. Like, wait, I don't remember where did Rondo go?
Rondo went to the Hawks.
I've
Yeah.
got questions now, but
He went to go mentor Trae Young, allegedly.
that'd be very interesting. Like those have got to be some interesting conversations.
Oh yeah, you know it's nothing but brain picking. That man ain't giving nothing but jewels to that young dude.
Like, and then he's just there to like make everybody more dangerous. Just like
Exactly. It's like you
here, like
just needed a backup point guard. You're welcome.
uh,
The
a
Suns
bit
look.
of a surprise. The
What you said?
Sun. I said a bit of a surprise. The Sun.
At this point, if you were surprised by the Suns being this good, I do understand this good this early. But if you were surprised by the Suns being good, I don't know why you would. Just stop doubting Chris Paul at this point. Like he's shown enough that whatever the group of people he is around, he can make them a playoff team.
Like,
I didn't say a winning playoff team. Just say he could make them a playoff team. He could do that by himself. And this is weirdly one of the better supporting cast he's had. Well, I mean, the only other time he's really been in this situation is with the Thunder last year. I low-key think the Suns have a better cast overall than
they do. They're a bit older.
Yeah.
More experienced. But like I'm not surprised they're good. I'm surprised they're this good. And maybe it's just from a little bit from like seasons prior, because prior to last season they were trash. Last season they came out swinging early and kind of dropped off. And then came at kind of strong in the bubble, but it didn't matter. Because they were too far back. Uh, but like it's actually kind of nice to see them like being good, you know?
Right.
Like Devin Booker isn't like gonna be wasting his talents now. He's gonna make the playoff. DeAndre Ayton is, you know, a bit of a traditional big man, but like I like traditional big men and he's very good at it. So
He's really good at defense this year.
let's see, statistically he's averaging like a block in like 23. That's it. But like I'd have to look really into that. I'd have to catch a Suns game.
Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna watch Suns versus Cleveland. That's gonna be the game I'm gonna watch.
That sounds like a fun game.
Yeah, two teams I never thought I'd actually want to see, but well, yeah, bro. Yeah, not since LeBron in Steve Nash. Like that's the only other time I can ever think about actually wanting to see the Suns versus Cleveland.
That makes sense.
Sad news, but the Suns actually have some really good wins to start off. Like they beat the Mavericks. They slaughtered the Pelicans. They eked one out against the Nuggets. They beat the Jazz. I would be excited about them beating the Raptors, but you know we just saw what their record is. They beat the Pacers, so you know they beating up on the top lead, like both conferences' best teams. So let me know you're doing some Chris Paul magic out there. I guess we can talk about the Clippers, bro. I really don't want to talk about the sorry ass Clippers.
I mean, they are sitting at number 3, sorry as they may or may not be.
Bro, they just
But,
have
like,
they have the sorriest moments I've ever seen. Like it just might be like a franchise thing that's been exacerbated, but you lose by 50, and then you like fall apart in the second half against the Warriors. Like that's just like two really bad losses in my head. Like if we were looking at this like it was March Madness, I'd be concerned.
right. But like the thing is, it's like they've had some. Like I'm not really gonna defend any of it, right? Because like Paul George spent part of the offseason criticizing Doc Rivers, and then like disappears for a couple games early. Like you can't do that. But like they're also like more geared. Supposedly they're more geared for like postseason, which makes a certain amount of sense. Outside of the fact they don't, outside of Serge Ibaka, they don't. Well, I guess they have Zubac, but he's just kind of there. They don't really have like anything to like deal with the big men like AD or Aiton whenever the playoffs roll around.
Um, I think Ibaka is still serviceable enough on the defensive end that he can't do nothing against AD. But nobody in the league for real can do anything against AD. AD kind of just makes it happen. But I feel like you can slow down Aiton, where you're not really worried about him destroying the Clippers. And you let Aiden get his 20 and 10 and be fine.
I mean, would the Clippers be fine though?
That is a very good question that I wish I could answer for you, because there's so much there, and then they do sucky things, and I don't condone it.
But like also just kind of looking at their stats, granted, like I probably should have been looking a little closer at other team stats, but this is so far this is the only team we've talked about who's in a playoff spot who like outside of their top 2 scorers, nobody else is averaging more than 12 points a game. And like that could be a problem for them.
Mm-hmm. Because we already saw what it was like when not Paul George, but when Kawhi Leonard didn't play. When they didn't play and they ran into the Mavs, they got 50 at the half and then lost by 50. Like I said this at the beginning of the season, and I'm going to probably say this every episode going forward because I've said it for like the last 3 weeks. If Paul George is your dude, and then there's like some other people who can't really score or don't have a lot of gravity, you're going to have issues. And it's not completely Paul George's fault, but let's just say his back is not as strong as my man that plays for the Wizards. Or Zach LaVine's, for that matter. Like, I like you. I really do.
I feel like they get to playoffs, they're gonna have scoring issues. Not Kawhi and George necessarily, like not Leonard and George necessarily, but like the rest of your team, like the like barely average double digits. Like
Yeah.
you don't have a real you don't really have a third option like that.
Okay. And if Lou Will isn't scoring the way Lou Will normally scores, or at least can get to like a 15 to 18 point like level, it's really hard to have Lou Williams on the floor. He doesn't play defense.
Like his percentages are okay, but he's only averaging 10 a game. Like he's averaging 10 a game on 54% from the field and like 40% from three.
Good numbers. Just
Like not
let's
enough
hope
volume.
those numbers look like that when they get to the playoffs. Guess we can talk about the Jazz. Dog, I ain't watched a single Jazz game this year that I can think of. And I can't think of like any big roster moves either that kind of happened. Like if they're the 4 seed, just sounds like the Jazz.
Like I don't think they had like major roster moves this time through. Yeah, I think they kept it kind of quiet. I guess they like outside of I don't know adding some folks from like the draft and stuff.
Yeah.
Conley seems to be playing better relative to certainly the start of last season.
Yeah.
Which is good news for them. Clarkson is playing pretty well. I don't know, like his defense will probably still suspect if we watch the game, but his offense is fine. He's averaging 16 points off 49% shooting.
Impressive, especially for him.
Gobert is playing well after getting his money, I guess. Averaging 12 points, 13 rebounds, 2.8 blocks.
It's weird. This just sounds like the Jazz to me. Like they.
I mean, outside of I guess the fact that I guess Conley struggled for like earlier in last season, and like last season was statistically his worst in a little minute, honestly. Like he seems to more or less found the groove again. So even if they didn't add anybody, that's an improvement. But it's still basically the Jazz. You're right. Like
yeah. I guess we can move on to the Warriors.
They are no longer a dumpster fire.
All right. So I guess the addition of Draymond Green does kind of right the ship a little bit, but Andrew Wiggins also decided to bring his shooting to the Warriors at some point. Like, did you, Pete?
Yeah, kinda. Because it's just like he started out. Him and Aubrey were trash. I think Aubrey still struggling.
Kelly Oubre. I don't know what Kelly Oubre is doing. I didn't even look into his stats. I'm not sure.
But like the thing was, right, like there was some dumb thing I saw on like Reddit or something. That basically if you take out Oubre's 3-point shooting, the Warriors are fourth in the league in 3-pointers in 3-point percentage. But if you add it, it drops them to like 16th or something. He's currently shooting at a top tier clip of 13% from 3.
No, I've never seen that before. I've never seen an NBA player shoot that bad 3 before, and I watched Russell Westbrook for like 10 years in OKC. I'm so glad Kelly Oubre is 6'7" and one of the most athletic human beings in the NBA. Because that is literally his saving grace at this point.
Like,
ugh, that's bad. That man also 6.5.
Like I feel like the addition of Green probably just I don't know, maybe he fusses at Wiggins. It's like, hey, you need to shape up. We're playing like ass. But also like apparently Draymond has kind of been mentoring Wiseman like defensively and stuff. Because like I've seen some of the clips of him like talking about it. Also, like he's just a really smart player.
Who, Wiseman or Draymond?
I'm talking about Draymond right now.
Oh yeah.
And in fairness, until I started seeing some of these clips of him like talking about the game, like I wasn't aware of just like how smart of a player. Like you can watch him and be like, oh, he's a smart player, but then you hear him talk about it, and it's just like, oh, he knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, I think anytime you can be considered at some point a star in the league without scoring more than like 15 points a game, or pulling down like a rebound at like 15 points, like 10 points. I mean, the way Draymond gets it done is like very unique, and I don't know like another person that can get entered into the star conversation with having the stats that he does. Like it's all about knowing the game with him. It's interesting.
That's entirely fair.
Yeah.
And like it's not like from a stats point, it's also not like he's like lit it up since he's like gotten back. He's currently averaging 4 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. Oh, and 1.3 steals. But
he
like
just out here directing traffic, giving
basically.
Yes.
Like, that's basic. Mine, like from what I can tell, that's basically what he's doing. He's just like, hey, yo, they're about to do this, this, and this, and we're gonna do this, this, and this. Like he should really coach when he retires.
That makes me think about like the Warriors when they had KD was really unfair because you have one of the greatest scoring options of all time, and then you got the dude that just knows everything too. Like when you think about it, just like from a talent perspective, just looking at like how good they were, like Steph Curry being the best shooter of all time, Klay Thompson probably being second, Kevin Durant being Kevin Durant, and then Draymond Green being the whiz kid, and then you got like Kevin Looney. Which is like, it's not your fault. It's just, you don't look right in the group picture. Go ahead and stand behind Kevin Durant, so we ain't gotta really be here like that.
Also, Wiseman's been playing. He so far he's having a good rookie season.
Yeah.
I'm currently averaging 10 points, 6 rebounds, 1.5 blocks. Shooting 40% from three so far. On like 1.5 takes a game. So it's not like he's just chucking it from back there. But yeah.
That granddad shot got to go in at some point, right?
Yeah. I mean, what as my dad would say, you practice it. If you practice any shot you practice enough will go in.
Yeah. Should you be shooting it? Probably not, but to each his own.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the Mavericks at number 6, 5-4 the season.
They will
Their game got postponed. You said what?
Oh yeah, their game got postponed, and Porzingis was supposed to like get his first minutes of the season. That's disappointing for me because I saw that and I'm like, I'm gonna watch this game because it's on a channel I'd act like I'm like or like a service I actually have. But that's gonna have to wait. But of course, Luka Doncic is Luka Doncic.
Exactly.
Like that said though, like he's apparently struggling from three early, but he's getting the numbers.
Yeah, I don't know if he can shoot for real, like from three, because he's always struggled. Like this is only his 3rd season, but he didn't have a high percentage his rookie year. Sophomore was pretty much the same. I don't know if he's gonna be able to shoot it, and weirdly, that's not a problem.
Well, it's just like there are players like him, like Jimmy Butler, who like can still be because they do other things really well. You can still be effective without necessarily having the three. And like I get that people are like, you need to space the floor and everything, but everybody doesn't need to do that. Like, and like smart players will manage to be effective, and it's okay if they shoot mid-range shots if those shots go down. But interestingly, he appears to have gotten progressively worse at shooting threes since he's been in the league. Like I'm just looking at the numbers right now. Like this might just be a slump and like his stuff moves back up or like it'll show he improved by the end of the season. But like he's currently sitting at 22% from deep so far. Off 7 attempts a game. And his rookie season he was shooting 32%.
What was he shooting last year?
31%. I told you, progressively worse. Why is this happening? Only God knows, because that doesn't really make sense to me.
It
But
almost makes me like when they were scouting and doing like the draft, I never heard them mention that he can't really shoot. At least from three. But I guess that's not really a issue when you are offense unto yourself. Like you just nice.
yeah, but like this is gonna be the first thing people point to when like they get surprisingly knocked out of like the first round or something hypothetically. Like they probably wouldn't. Like I feel like he could get through a first round team, and like with Porzingis back, that's gonna help him because like they have somebody else to really pay attention to besides him, and apparently Tim Hardaway Jr.
Tim
Uh,
Hardaway Jr. becoming in clutch. I appreciate him.
I can't like I might have to catch a Mavs game. I can't even argue.
Yeah.
18 points off. Like he's currently the best shooter on the team. Looks like.
hmm
Um. So like I can't argue with that. He's putting up numbers.
If it wasn't for Seth Curry, he would have been the best shooter on the team last year too.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah. He got a stroke, bro. He be knocking it down. Uh, I guess the next team on the list is the Blazers. Um,
Allen's personal disappointment.
I'm I I think the happiest thing that's coming from this season is CJ McCollum is going to earn an all-star spot playing the way he is. And it's no shade to Dame at all. Clearly, the league and them want to have turns where CJ gets to be the superstar and Dame gets to take the backseat. And it's probably nothing that Dame is doing. I see the way defenses play him, and they try to take him out of the game, which is almost weird because CJ McCollum has never gave us a reason to show that he can't replace Dame's production.
I mean, looking at the numbers, they're basically the same dude.
Like it's always kind of been there. Like I get why like CJ, I mean Dame gets more of the love. He has more time to establish, but that's almost one they won't be at that point.
They also look like they have a similar problem to the Clippers
You
in
said
that
what?
they have a sim. It looks like from a again the stats they have a similar problem to the Clippers. They don't have a real number three. It's like yes they have Melo, but he's averaging 12 a game. Like this is old. This is old Melo. This isn't
Mm-hmm.
like Knicks Melo or OKC Melo or Nuggets Melo. Like
This,
this is old Melo.
hey, I hate to say it. This is the old man in the corner at the gym. Like
I mean,
he
he's knocking down his shots there in the corner.
exactly. That's what he do. He gonna knock down the shots. He gonna he has a specific game. He can get his production, and he is going to come in clutch for you. But he is not going to give you 20. He's not really your third option.
Okay, maybe is Rodney Hood not supposed to be better than what I'm looking at? I feel
See, Rodney Hood, I want to say was the 2018 playoffs. Rodney Hood showed so much promise, and then he had that. I believe it was the Achilles injury
mhm.
the next season. And I think we're going to have that slow grind to him getting back to the point where he can possibly
Well,
be that third scoring option. Because I like him as a scorer. He's good. He has solid size. He can shoot. I really just hope this is just like a injury bug and he can come back next year.
hopefully, because it looks like you look at his stats over the course of his career, it looks like an anomaly.
Yeah, yeah. Because he's a double-digit scorer for about his career at this point, right?
Yeah, but he's
Yeah.
currently averaging 1.9 points per game. playing 13 minutes a game
How many
and
games has he
shooting
played?
terrible. He's played 7. I was
My inner
was he
voice
hurt
told me to
last
blame
season?
Terry Stotts.
Was he hurt last season? He only played 21 games.
Yeah, he was hurt last season.
Oh,
That's where the Achilles injury came from,
oh.
or ACL, something like that. Yeah, his season ended.
But like I I don't know. It's just maybe it's just me and I like teams that like not so much have a variety of scoring options. There's various dudes you can kind of go to and kind of play it by ear. But like I'm I feel concerned for the Blazers and the Clippers just because like if your two best players have an off night, don't at least from any given you don't have a dude who can like pick it up for you at the moment. At least it's not showing up in the stats.
Yeah, no, I completely, completely agree with you, especially at this point in the juncture. Um, I've been on the record saying this since pretty much the beginning of the season. This Blazers roster is awful. This is not a good constructed team whatsoever. Like, they don't have anybody that can defend. They don't have anybody that can really score outside of Dame and CJ, and all of that is going to get exposed, especially when I don't think I think they're going to be
If I
fine.
okay, quick,
Mhm.
can't Nurkic and Covington defend?
Nurkic, Nurkic, Nurk is all right, but he's also having a not good season. Like he looks completely different. Even the production is off. And Robert Covington, I I don't know what's I don't know what's going on. Like Robert Covington is really normally really good.
Mhm.
He can play defense. He has size. He can shoot the three, and I don't see any of that with the Blazers. And I don't know if he was always um, playing on teams where they had other people that could play defense too. Because he looked good with the Rockets. He looked like he could defend with the 76ers. He was a really good defender when he was with Minnesota. And maybe you can give me some insight on some stats. I don't see any of that
Well,
translating for the Blazers.
yeah, it's just like looking at defensive rating per
Yeah.
100 possession. It's it's weird because it's like so far it's the best one he's had. But you go to like I guess defensive BPM, and it's like the one of the lower. He's on the lower end with it. Like it's and it nosedived relative to like just a season ago.
Yeah, bro. The only thing I can think of is the way this is constructed, the way the roster is constructed. There is no one that can play defense but Robert Covington. And that is not
Trailblazers.
my bad. The Trailblazers. The only person that can play defense is Robert Covington. And it just so happens that if your entire defense is reliant on one wing, you've probably lost.
Yeah,
Because he
because
can't guard everybody.
that's ultimately the thing with like if it's a team with only like one good defender for real, because it's just like they're like I not kind of want to see a Blazers game just to see how he goes about it, because I would assume because I feel like something that I've noticed with good defenders, and granted maybe this is more of a like a lower like a high school maybe some college thing, like a good defender if you don't trust your teammates to play good defense, you sag way off your man. Like you just, especially if they stuck you with some dude who does like who's not gonna play for real, like then like you sag off because you know you can, but like you can't get everybody.
Yeah. You you can't. And And asking that man to do that would just be selfish. That's a load, bro. He ain't got the back for it. He not he,
Like,
he I don't even want to talk about the Blazers anymore. They're frustrating me. Let's talk about something that's going to bring me some happiness. The Thunder with the number 8 seed. I personally like them at this position. If they can stay here where they do make the playoffs, but they can also get like a middle of the way draft pick, it just looks good for the future. And I appreciate that because they have talent. Like not Lee Dort. Lou Dort. He looks
yeah.
really. What did you say?
Oh no, ignore me.
Yeah, Lou Dort looks really good this year. He can shoot the ball and is still one of the better perimeter defenders in the league. They just have like a really good package. Like I said this earlier. In 2026, I will go back to being a full-fledged fan. That's when all those draft picks are going to cash in. And I feel like we'll be really good then. But I got an eye on them. I appreciate it. I like this. I like to see what the young roster has.
Yeah, Dort's improved a bunch. His improved offensively. Granted, like if we want to be like a number one option or like number two option, their only option in the traditional sense looks like it's Gillis Alexander.
Yeah.
But like they also do have a bunch of other, like his teammates contribute. A lot of his teammates contribute.
Yeah. Darius
Um,
Baisley looks good.
like they will they'll Harden be like they'll probably be fine. They probably play no correction. They play more defense than like Portland, but like Dort can probably do that solo.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
and like they have Al Horford, which certainly helps.
Like they have a good combination of like older veterans and like almost not so young guys. Like Gildress Alexander is like 3 years in the league, which is usually when you start hitting your stride. So, like, I'm not upset with this production. I'm actually like really excited about the future of the Thunder.
Uh, where were we? Just
Yeah.
and moving from the Thunder, we have the Spurs who are solidly in playoff contention, but are behind the Thunder because they played one more game already.
Yeah. I haven't watched anything from the Spurs. I don't kind of intend to either. I weirdly know exactly what I'm getting with Greg Popovich at this point. Team's going to be decent defensively. They're not going to shoot a lot of threes. And it's going to look good. And if they don't make the playoffs again this year, which I really don't see them doing, this is like 2 years in a row where the Clippers don't make the. I mean, not the Clippers. Sorry, the 2 years in a row where the Spurs don't make the playoffs, and I'm okay with this considering I saw them do it for like 25 years. Like, didn't they make? They had like the longest.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay. Every team has their down year, and I'm okay with you being out. Because when you come back to dynasty mode, it ain't gonna do nothing besides make me mad. I already know you're gonna break my heart, especially with this Thunder team. Something gonna happen.
My only point of concern so far for the Spurs, looking at it, whether or not they make the playoffs, is like their two best rebounders are both guards. Which, I mean, like they're clearly solid rebounders at 7 rebounds a game, but like still, like you feel like like Aldridge is averaging 5 rebounds a game currently.
Oh, I'm it makes sense at this point. The guys that he has on his rosters that are his league guys, they're aging superstars. Like DeMar DeRozan's been in the league for what, more than 13 years at this point.
Yeah.
You can say the same about LaMarcus Aldridge. Like, this is usually around the time where you decline. So if that's all you got for the Spurs and you got some good young talent, I'll see you in 2026 too.
But I mean, I feel like they got a decent chance of making the playoffs, though. They seem to have a bit more scoring punch as a group than other teams we've looked at. They have, DeRozan's currently averaging 21, Murray 16, Aldridge 15, Mills 15, Johnson 13, Walker 13, Rudy Gay is averaging 11. So as a group, I feel like they have a bit, like there's a bit more you can work with comparatively. But whether or not it'll be enough is a whole separate question.
Yeah, because I agree with you. Like, hearing the scoring being that balance is like really promising for them. But the next three teams we have to talk about, next three teams we have to talk about, I don't think they're better than. Like, we could talk about the Kings.
I'll say three of the next four teams. I'm not prepared. Like, I'll have to watch the Kings before I'll give you the Kings. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And we're talking about at least 11 teams that we truly believe can make the playoffs out west. And I am supposed to believe that at some point the Nuggets won't click together while Jokic is having this like MVP-esque season. That eventually won't click. Their offense starts to look better, and they leapfrog the Spurs. And I just got a lot of faith in the Pelicans. And going up that list for the Spurs, like 1 through 8, I don't think they're better than any of those teams. Like, maybe you can have an argument with the Thunder and the Blazers, but CJ and Dame were going to fight way too hard to really, like, give up the edge there. So, you only better than 2 of the 11 teams? Go ahead and take that 9th seed. We'll see you next year. Shoot. I kind of mentioned Jokic, so let's go ahead and move on to the Nuggets.
Who are kind of disappointing early.
Right. But it looks like they're hitting their stride. They won their last 2 games. And they won against, well, one good opponent in beating the 76ers. But I also think that was the 76er game where they only had like 7 people. And then they beat up on the Knicks. So
they currently actually have a better road record than home record so far. 3-1 on the road, 2-4 at home.
Yeah,
and 0-2 in overtime.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see. Missing, I do not know why Jeremy Grant left this Nuggets team. I don't know why outside of money. Because I truly think he's like the defensive linchpin for them. Like, I think he was the dude that kind of made things work, that rangy 6'10" athlete that can kind of guard a bunch of different positions. I really think they probably needed that more than they let on. But they also probably got to slide some big contracts come within like 2 years.
My understanding also is like he wanted to, I guess he wanted to go somewhere where we could have a bigger offensive role, and like he wasn't gonna get a much bigger one at the Nuggets. Fairness, but he would have been better. Like if you want to be like, I want to have the most fun career possible, it's better off sticking with the Nuggets because they'd be more than happy to keep him, but they also, whether or not they'd want to pay him what the what the Pistons would pay him is a separate thing. I could understand,
Yeah.
not necessarily.
All I gotta say is give that man what he wants. Give him Bowls minutes. Go ahead, send Bowl to the G League until he can complete like 30 push-ups in a row. Don't have him back. Uh, but it's too late. They'll get it together. I got faith in him. How's
Uh,
Jamal Murray doing?
Jamal Murray is averaging just shy of 20 a game. Like he's not putting up numbers like he was in the bubble, and like I feel like people are acting like his numbers are somehow like he should have just come from like having a long like postseason straight into like this season be like dropping to say like putting up 30 and 40.
Yeah.
I don't really understand that, but he's he's doing fine. He's doing fine.
Yeah.
Like he's playing well. Jokic is averaging a triple double so far. Porter is putting up 19 a game, off 56% shooting, 42% from deep. Through his first, in fairness, through his first 4 games, like through 4 games, for him. Millsap is Millsap. You know what you're getting at this point.
Yeah.
Harris, my understanding was he's kind of been struggling early, but like he's averaging about 10 a game. Barton's averaging about 10 a game. Like it's a surprisingly balanced attack overall. Um, like they will like they like they're too good to like not make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've been talking about this all season long. That is an extremely
Like
deep team that has like 6 to 7 dudes that can be in double figures any night. And when everybody else figures that out, they'll be fine.
RJ Hampton's getting garbage minutes, and so is Bowl, I guess. Like, but Bowl, as we stated, the reason you don't play him is not because he can't play, it's because he get himself hurt, and you're not sure who you'd have him guard. But of course, in the off season with RJ Hampton, they continue to add talent they have no business adding.
Hey, when RJ, so RJ Hampton is from like where I live currently in Dallas.
Mhm.
Like his high school is 5 minutes up the road. So I watched him like destroy people his junior year. Um, I realized he was like a crazy athlete, but I didn't realize how crazy until he went to New Zealand. And I forgot they played OKC in a preseason game. And the way RJ Hampton was burning like legitimate NBA defenders that tried to close out on him, I was like, oh, this isn't good. This isn't good for like anybody else that's really guarding him on the wing. Um, so if he can like figure everything out, it'd be like a solid player. Like a year or two, they'll have another dude to add to that stable of 7 to 8 dudes that can go get to him points.
It's a just it's a right. And then like the next dude is still like 6 points, 5 points, 4 points.
Yeah. Yeah, nah, I'm not really worried about them at this point. Um,
Like
let's go.
you have to go like 12 players deep to get somebody who's putting up numbers you consider to be a scrub, and that first dude is Hampton. So
He's supposed to be a scrub because of the rookie status.
yeah.
That's a really talented team.
Mhm.
Like from a talent perspective, that team's up there. Um, let's go ahead and go to the Pelicans.
I just real quick though, what I want to say, like
Mhm.
looking at ages and whatever, Paul Millsap is the oldest person on the roster. Like But the next oldest person is 30, and that's Spartan, I think.
Yeah.
It's like you know why they have like you're here to like be the old guy.
And I feel like he could have I'm drawing a blank on my man's. He played for the Warriors. Uh,
Iguodala,
huh? No.
Iguodala.
The guard. Sean Livingston.
Mm-hmm.
I could see him having like a Sean Livingston impact for this Nuggets team, being like the old head who can just like come in and get buckets in the mid range and like come up with like good plays. Like I could see him doing that at like age 33, where he comes in, plays like 20 minutes a game, gets 10 points, like makes some good plays, and then just calls it a day.
What, Barton.
Yeah.
Um, but next up, we of course have one of the more entertaining teams in the league in the Nuggets. I mean, not the Nuggets, the Pelicans. We already looked at the Nuggets.
You good, bro. The Pelicans. I ain't got nothing for you here. Um, everybody looks improved. And they're still at 4-5. I really just think they need time to cook. Like I don't got no notes for the Pelicans. Just keep going.
Hey,
Yeah.
maybe just some of them do time. I'm just like I feel like they should have a bigger roster. But regardless, yeah, they probably just need time at this point. Ingram's playing well. Williamson is playing well, of course. Um, I am confused about Lonzo Ball, but he's not really playing poorly.
What about Lonzo?
Just like his, it's, let me pull it. It's just like really, I guess the assists,
Hmm?
like the playmaking, and to a lesser extent rebounding. Like I don't really care about his rebounding that much, but like so far he's averaging 4 assists a game. He averaged 7 last season. Fairness, he averaged 5.4 the season before that, but he averaged 7.2 his rookie season. Um, Granted, like that his second year in the league, they had LeBron, so but still.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Like I like the Pelicans. I do not like the next four teams though. Like I don't have any notes on the Kings. I don't know what's going on with the Rockets. Because of their like COVID protocol. I feel like I haven't really got to see everybody play together and play like meaningful minutes. I feel like this is another team that's gonna need some time to kick the tires.
Mm-hmm.
Ja Morant plays for the Grizzlies. That's a true
Um,
statement, and that's something I can say without a doubt. Um, Carl Anthony Towns plays for the Timberwolves.
One, I know you can do a little bit better than that, and like I mean, I don't even know what I wanted to do for two, but like the Grizzlies, they really can't go anywhere but up. But hold up, wait, let's get to the people ahead of them first, and I'll talk about them a little bit.
Yeah. Hey, hold up. Give me a second.
All right. Please buy Travel with Hooper brand generic product. Uh, we sell it for $35 a. I don't know. Uh, Um, conspiracy theory plug. 9/11 was an inside job.
Who are we talking about?
We are on the King.
All right, the Kings. I really don't have anything about the Kings. I haven't watched a single Kings game. I have no interest in watching a Kings game. If they come on TV, maybe I'll watch. Um, Actually, at some point they have to play Dallas, and because I live in Dallas, that comes on normal cable. I'll watch that game.
I looking at the stats, I don't have a whole lot to say. And have you ever looked at a stat sheet and be like, it kind of looks like everybody is struggling?
I've only seen that in like one game. Like I haven't seen it in like a single season type thing. Like I've seen a game where everybody struggled, but not a season where everybody struggled.
Yeah, fairness. I guess the Harrison Barnes isn't struggling relative to his career numbers, but like I don't know. It's like you look at some of the names and you look at the players, and you're kind of like, I feel like y'all should be better. Well, it's just like, all right, and you can tell me if like, all right, real quick, what is their record currently? I know it's a trash one.
It is 4-6.
Okay, so it's 4-6. It's probably gonna get worse. If for no other reason than it's the Kings, and like that's all the reason you need. But because what they have Harrison Barnes, Buddy Hield, De'Aaron Fox, Tyrese Halliburton, Rashad Holmes, Bagley, Corey Joseph, Glenn Robinson, Nemanja Bjelica. I can't pronounce that. I can't pronounce that man's last name. I'm sorry. Hassan Whiteside, Kyle Guy, and a couple other dudes who definitely don't matter.
Hassan Whiteside is back with the Kings. That's beautiful. That's full circle.
I mean, he's not doing much of anything.
He wasn't doing much of anything the first time either.
Yeah, but you would expect him to do more than
Why?
that. He
I
did
feel
more
like we
than
should
that
be,
when he left, like on
I feel
other
like we
teams.
should be over him. Like one, I feel like we want him to be good more than he wants to be good. Like
That
we
is
keep having these
probably true.
expectations, and Buddy just
That's
being
probably
Buddy.
true. That's probably true.
I'm just glad he got paid.
Yeah. But it's just like I look at him like, even if we ignore, Whiteside not being that interested in being a good basketball player, um, like I still feel like this should be a better team than their record currently suggests they are.
I heard a bunch of names that during trade season
Mm-hmm.
is going to be kind of open season.
I mean,
They're
if
all like,
I'm, I'm just like if I'm another GM, like maybe this is just me and I don't know what you need to give up for them, but like the only dude that I'd have particularly high on like my let's see if I can pry them from the from the Kings list are basically Fox, Held, and Bagley. Maybe Halliburton. He's doing pretty well so far.
yeah.
But this is like his rookie season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, it's so far it's a good rookie season, 12.5 assists. Um, but like I mean like if I'm because like I feel like and like you try it one because like they could help plenty of teams, like especially in the like dependent like certain teams, and like the Kings just aren't that well run of an organization. Like
Yes.
I wouldn't say like they're the Knicks level bad. Like at least I'll put it like this: they're interested in trying, but like they're just they just suck at it.
See,
Um,
I like the Knicks comparison, but one issue I have with it, it is a well-known fact that the Knicks are incompetent.
yeah,
The Kings may try to not be incompetent. They're just not good at it. So like you're trying is it's. I'm glad you tried, but you still get a D. I'm not gonna give you an F because you tried, but I'm going to give you a D. I'm gonna need you to see. I'm gonna need to see you next semester. Like, come back one more time because you didn't learn enough.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Uh,
You know, any Kings fans out there? I'm sorry. Um, Now on to more
before we
interesting
go,
hmm
I'm not sorry for any Kings fans. You signed up for this. You don't have to do this. You can leave. You are not on a contract. You can do what you want with your life. You do not have to. You don't have to celebrate sorry. You can still be a fan and not celebrate sorry. You
Well,
ain't gotta
no,
do
I'm
that.
just like, well, here's the thing though. The silver lining for like, at least until further notice, silver lining for a Kings fan is like, at least you're not a Knicks fan.
If you were a
Like,
Knicks fan, you would have hope.
yeah, but like, you still have Dolan, so like, he's gonna interfere at some point anyway. Like, good times can't last. They haven't lasted basically for as long as I can remember. And before that, my understanding.
Hey, look, all I gotta say is I have not, outside of the time where Chris Webber was there, I do not know a single time, as long as I've been a fan of the NBA and been watching basketball, I don't know the Kings to be in the playoffs.
I want to feel like they've. It's like the thing is I have to start going back well before I paid much attention to the NBA. Um, like the Knicks got there more recently, I think, but like they had one good year, one mediocre year, and like they sold their soul to like for those or something. Wait, was it them who gave a bunch of draft picks? I'm mistaking them for the Nets.
The Nets.
Okay, well, I mean the Nets got better, but like they also got slightly better ownership, or maybe they didn't. I don't know. Point is, they they don't suck, but it's probably not a good side when you spend more time talking about other teams than the team you're supposed to be talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, so on to the Rockets.
2006. Sorry,
2006,
interrupt. 2006 was the last time
they
they
made
made
the
it to the
playoffs.
playoffs.
Okay.
Garbage.
In fairness, it wasn't because you know that it wasn't for a lack of like they just know what to do with any. It's like you had Cousins and you had Evans and like why did you move Evans from point guard? Whatever. You know what? That's water under the bridge. These dudes have had their whole careers at this point, basically.
Kings fans, move on. You ain't got to do it. Come back when they good. 2026, baby. Root. Say it with me. 2026. There's certain teams. 2026.
Um, Random aside, there's a Twitter post. I can't remember. Moving on, because I can't remember the names of people. To the Rockets, who are currently sitting at a glorious 3-5 record. Um, they, I actually don't know what their issue is. I don't like. Here's the thing. Like, I honestly, it's like it's very much a what am I like? What do you want me to tell you? Because I don't. It's just like they it's like you got like Harden is averaging 26 points and 11. I mean, yeah, 26 points, 11 assists. And may or may not want to be there. I think he feels a bit better about it than he did beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Um, Not necessarily the highest bar to clear, but it's a good one to try and clear if you're trying to hold on to him. Wall came back. He's playing solid basketball, especially considering he's barely played in years. Um, Christian Wood is playing good basketball. Like those three players alone are combining for right at 70 points a game.
Yeah.
Uh, Eric Gordon is Eric Gordon. Know what you're getting from him. He can fill it up. Cousins has kind of struggled in his comeback. I feel like after he like gets more time and adjusts, he'll probably be fine. But because like his game was never super predicated on being like super athletic anyway, so he'll be fine. And if nothing else, like assuming this team ends up being good, he can be the team enforcer.
Exactly. You can just punch
Like,
people. That's fun.
like
Uh,
it's like plenty of people already don't like him, so it's just like might as well play into like you're not gonna like me anyway.
exactly. Have fun with it.
Like,
Uh, so I was looking through their wins. Well, rather the
wait, Kenyon
losses.
Martin still plays basketball. Wait, hold up, is that the son?
Yeah, that's his son.
Okay, I'm about to be like, wait, hold up, hold up.
That's hilarious. You're showing your age there, Calvin.
I Here's the thing, I only saw him play at the tail end though,
Yeah.
but it's still just like seeing the name. And the thing is, at least on here, they didn't put the junior at the end. They had put the junior. I'd have been good, but they didn't. It's like Kenyon Martin. I'm like, hold up, hold up. Like, but the son, it's like that makes more sense. That makes more sense.
Yeah. But the Rockets don't even have good wins. Like, I hate to sound like a college person when I talk about this, but that's something I'm always interested in. Like, who did you beat? Because that says a lot about you. Their 3 wins are the Kings, and the Magic.
Well, okay.
Yeah. So you had to beat up on the lowly Kings to get 2 wins, and then you beat the Magic by 42. And let me go see if that looks like the entire Mav team was there. You beat them by 42. I'm not proud. And then they barely beat the Kings both times. Like, they beat the Kings by 3 points on Thursday, and then they replayed again on Saturday, and they beat them by 8.
I mean, hear me out. I'm probably about. We're all probably about to think I've lost my mind. What if just hypothetically the Kings aren't complete trash?
I'm okay with saying that about the Kings. But what I am hearing is the team that is not complete trash, you barely beat them. What does that mean about you?
Point taken.
It just looks bad because they lost against the Pacers. It was a closer game. They lost by 7. They lost to the Mavs by 13. Um, they barely got one over on the Blazers. You know how I feel about the Blazers. I And that was the first game of the season. I get it was COVID protocol. I think they probably would have beat the Blazers at full strength because the Blazers needed overtime to beat them. But yeah, they got to play the Lakers. They lost by 18 against the Lakers. They got to play them again tomorrow. They ain't got no faith in the Rockets right now. Like, everybody got to come back. They got to play some games together. But anybody checking for the Rockets? Go ahead and get that. If you don't get a lottery pick, go ahead and be okay with the 6th seed and get out of here after the first round. Because I don't really want to be bothered at this point so far. It's just very, something seems disruptive. Like, this doesn't look good.
I mean, they do have a lot of new pieces, including a new front office, basically, and a new coach. So I don't know. It could just adjustments need to be made, I guess.
Yeah, we just looking at some growing pains, but I don't want to. We can go ahead. I'm gonna change the channel.
Uh,
Speaking of growing pains, your Grizzlies.
Okay, so the first thing I would like to say is that we are not healthy right now.
Excuse.
Um, I mean, you say that, but okay. So here are the dudes that are currently out. Granted, I don't think two of them would get playing time like that necessarily. But um, Jonte Porter is out. Justice Winslow is out. John Concher is out. Killian Tilly is out. Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. are out. So like those are your two best players. I'm pretty sure Winslow starts since play good defense. He's out. Like you're basically running backups and backups and Valenciunas and Brooks, depending on how you feel about him, or sometimes even just what day it is. Because he's one of them dudes that can shoot you into the game, but is confident enough to shoot you out of one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but like even with that though, the Grizzlies, I don't know. I don't think they like the idea of folding. Like, granted, they aren't nearly as good as they could be. Um, but they they have what? Hold up. Let me double check. Want to make sure I don't tell you something wrong.
Yeah. While you're looking that up, I'm gonna go ahead and be honest with you.
Mhm.
Um, I don't exactly remember how you worded it, but even with all those players being out, I'm not disappointed in what's going on in Grizzlies. I with the Grizzlies. I believe you guys should be looking forward to 2026 as well. Uh, I know you don't have the draft capital, but
Oh yeah, Brandon Clark is healthy. I'm sorry.
yeah,
Golly. Oh, I'm
all
sorry.
your best players are like super young.
I have
Just
a
just go ahead.
legitimate question though. Like, granted, I am aware that the Nets probably don't care about the Grizzlies because the Grizzlies are a young team, not that great at the moment, if for no other reason than they are a young team outside of Valenciunas, and Winslow kind of.
Yeah.
Um, but why would you rest KD and Kyrie both twice against the Grizzlies?
See, I
Because
don't
hmm?
I don't fully know why you would do that, but I remember you saying something a few weeks back about you can't really rest your players during nationally televised
Oh
games.
yeah, that's right,
So
yeah.
you go ahead and get that
Mhm. And the Grizzlies don't nationally televised games when they're good. Of course they're not when they're mediocre to bad.
Yeah. So do you really want to watch? Like, it would be really nice to watch your team beat the Nets, but that's not the Nets. You didn't beat the Nets.
Yeah,
Not the
but those are still two W's in the win column.
Yeah. Look, historically speaking, it's going to look good for you when you beat the Knicks until you look at the context, and that's
Yeah,
and
but it's also just you're also hurt.
yeah. But look, I'm gonna be real with you. The context here for the Grizzlies not being good so far is health. But if they were full string, we looking at what are we? How many more wins are we looking at, Cal?
Um, like realistically, at the moment, looking at who they've played, probably one. Because okay, so here's who they played so far, right? Okay, correction, I might say two because the Hawks, but okay, so far here's who the Grizzlies have played: the Spurs, the Hawks, the Nets, the Celtics, the Hornets, the Lakers, the Cavs. Um, of course, they beat the Nets twice. They lost to the Cavs first time. It looks like they might win this time. They're currently playing right now. They lost to the Lakers, but like that makes sense. And by that point, there's no Morant,
Yeah.
right? Because Morant got hurt that first Nets game fairly early.
Yeah. Nah, this. I know
But like,
this really.
if you add Morant back, it's conceivable that some of these games become wins, or at least they're closer. But it's also that whole thing where like the way these things are set up, you with basketball in particular, you change one thing, you basically change the entire game.
Yeah.
So it's unless it's like a closing seconds thing, it's kind of it's like you plop down one person, it's a whole different game because that one person was in instead of somebody else.
Yeah.
But most of those dudes who I named who are out are supposed to get back healthy at around the same time.
Mm-hmm.
In about a month, I think.
In about a month.
Yeah.
It's not good, Calvin.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. But like,
Yeah, just blow the season up, baby. Go ahead and get that good draft pick. The draft is really good. The 2021 draft is especially at the top. If you get a top 8 pick in this draft, your team is going to be much better. Don't fight it. Just let it come to you. Like just
I mean, if I'm the players though, it's very much about pride at a certain point because like they have to play all the games anyway.
I agree with you, and I am all for fighting for your pride. But I am also going through some changes in my life where I've heard that you have to let your ego go to live a better existence. And so, the Grizzlies, you gotta let your ego go. Just blow it up. You don't have enough. Because I honestly think you're gonna have to win something around like maybe 47 games, maybe 44 games in the West to get in the playoffs.
But remember, wait, we're playing like what 60 something games this year? So the usual 80.
The usual is
Like
82. I think it's 70
yeah,
this season.
I thought okay, I thought it was like 60 something.
Yeah. Let's see. But yeah, let's go ahead and move. Yeah, 72
Okay,
games this season. But yeah, y'all not gonna win 40. I hate to put that on you.
probably not. Like
You
if
not
for
win.
no other reason than like it'll probably be too late when folks come back.
No,
Uh,
if you suck, this is the year to suck. Like you ain't take the L. You'll be much happier.
but like argument though, I feel like next year is probably a better. Well, maybe it's just because I'm unfamiliar with dudes coming out this year. But like in the next couple of years would probably be better reasons to suck than this one. Like we've talked about some of the players of like 2021 and 2022 and such. Um, and but I could be wrong. But also, Monty Bates is coming out in what 2 years
If
ish.
he stays in if he stays in high school and doesn't reclass, he's not going to be eligible until 2023.
Okay, but
Yeah.
but we were saying them kids look kind of serious.
Yeah.
Uh,
And all I gotta say for that one is you'll still be eligible for them kids in 2023, Calvin.
I don't think we will be like
Okay, maybe not
well I
23,
mean like we'll
but
probably still have our
2022.
draft pick. We'll probably still have our draft pick, but like I don't think it'll be a lottery pick.
Okay, well, if you play your cards right, you're gonna get a lottery pick this year, and you're going to get one next year. Yeah, I ain't got no faith in y'all, bro. Sorry.
I clearly, well, I'm a have faith, no reason why not. And
Mm-mm.
like like young players will continue to get better. We might not be a. I feel like we'll probably be in the playoffs. Might not be super high, and also it's the West, so like that's just a thing unto itself. But still,
Every time I think of, every time I hear someone say that about like the lower seeded, like normally the pits of each conference. And I'm sorry, for the past couple of years, the Grizzlies have been at the pit.
no, it's like I get it. I know, like the turnaround's been in terms of like having a bright future and whatever was faster than expected to be sure.
Yeah. But in the West, you got to win between 45 and 50 games. Nothing about your roster inspires me to believe that, even in like 2 years. Like maybe y'all get some crazy signings, but no offense, it's Memphis. When's the last time y'all got a good free agent,
Wait, hold on.
like a franchise changing free agent? Should I be more specific?
That's that's probably fair, but like I I also don't have a strong answer for no other reason than like I don't know how Zebo got to the Grizzlies or Tony Allen for that matter. But I mean, your basic point still stands though. But like, I feel like given the like assuming John Morant, like John Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. continue to develop, like we probably won't really need a true franchise changing free agent. Just be smart about signing and like about free agents and drafting, and they'll be fine. Like, but also it's just like you said, it's Memphis, and like for whatever reason with the Grizzlies, even when they've been good consistently, or were good consistently for like a decade, well, not for like, or for like half a decade, whatever. Every year it's just like, yeah, they probably don't really got it like that, and it's just like, so I hear that, and it's just, I don't know, a Tuesday, well, a
Yeah.
Monday in this case, but like even like I feel like even after we get good, people will be like, nah, they are like like every the beginning of every season, like, nah, they aren't serious. Like it's just the way of the world. It's the way of the world.
You'll always have those days with Mark Gasol. But let's go ahead and talk about the last team, I guess.
The Timberwolves.
Yeah, perpetually last. Like,
I mean, they have Anthony Edwards. That's a bright spot. Towns and Russell are playing well. That's something. The other dudes exist. Also, they apparently have Nas Reed on the team.
yeah,
I've
I want to
clearly
say
slept
they
through
drafted him.
something. Hmm?
I want to say they drafted him.
No, he was undrafted. I remember that.
Like, disappoints me every time I hear that.
I don't know why, but yeah, he was undrafted. But he's solid. But it's just, I don't know. It kind of like, given their record, it's clearly empty numbers. Maybe their defense is trash or something.
Bro. The Wizards beat them by 21.
Well, actually, correction. Apparently, they are one of the worst teams in the league offensively and defensively. So, from
The
a like
Blazers
points
beat
per
them by
game
18.
standpoint, look, you made your point. They're garbage. But like, I don't know. Part of me is just like, part of me wants to be like, I want to give them some benefit of the doubt. Like, maybe you'll right the ship or something. Like, but like I'm looking at this. They're currently 21st in the league in points per game in terms of scoring, and are 27th, like the points per game 27th in the league currently. Um, they are ninth in pace though, so like they play fairly fast. It doesn't get them wins, They play fairly fast.
They play fast so the other team can go home fast. Go ahead and get their points faster. Like I don't. There are some franchises that when you see they've struggled for as long as they've existed, I'm not. Is it built on like an agent burial ground? Um, was the money dirty that actually got you the franchise? Like I'm just not sure what it is, because something about just human nature kind of tells us it's almost impossible for you to be inept for 30 plus years and not learn anything from it.
I mean, they haven't. It hasn't been. They weren't completely inept when K Garnett was there.
Hey, there's a really good video by, I can't think of the name of them, but it's on YouTube, and they go through how they wasted Kevin Garnett's career. Like just like small stupid moves that they did that just like they missed on like most of their draft picks. Like literally the only person they hit on is
Marbury.
the only person they hit on for a while was KG. Like I think it was like,
Hold on,
I
wait. How
think
did
KG,
Marbury get? No, wasn't Marbury drafted to them?
I don't know if Marbury was drafted. I think he was traded. But if Marbury did hit for them, like they just had really bad luck with the draft and with the signings. It just this isn't a good franchise. They've had different people in the front office. Like I don't know what it is. That's like
Yeah, they drafted Marbury. He stayed like 3 years.
if Marbury is the best person you drafted outside of Kevin Garnett, you needed to sign somebody else. They had Sam Cassell for a while. That backcourt was good, but no, it was an awful franchise, and I don't understand how you can be bad for this long. That confuses me.
I mean, a little bad luck and a little ineptitude can go a long way.
That's too long, bro. That's 30. They at this point have generational issues. Like you know how like a family picks up like a bad habit and it just happens in generation after generation because there's nobody there to break the cycle. That's Timberwolves. I don't know who it needs to be. Like Kevin Garnett was one of the scarier dudes that I remember watching in the NBA growing up. You mean to tell me that man couldn't get you to act right? If that man can't get you to act right, ain't nobody do it.
I mean, I don't know. But it's just like I don't know. I don't know why they're trash, okay? It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. I don't have a lot of answers. I I'm so frustrated with their ineptitude that I want us to go ahead and wrap up the podcast. We've been at it for almost 2 hours.
Fair. But before we go though, if we can talk about the Wizards right quick. Scott Brooks is apparently on the hot seat. As we stated previously, the Wizards are currently the worst team in the East. Actually, probably the worst team in the league.
Yeah.
And like they have Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook, and their supporting cast isn't hot garbage. It's kind of young, but it's not hot garbage.
The one good thing I can say about Scott Brooks as a coach, whoever he has, like his top 2 guys, he allows them to run the show. He allows them to play their game and played as well as they possibly can. There will be no other real movement in the offense outside of those two making plays. And that's exactly what's happening with the Wizards. And like I said earlier, love Bradley Beal dearly. Scoring 35 points per game. That's not winning basketball. You want to know why it's not winning basketball? Because you did it last year. It is not your fault. I don't want to blame the players. That is an awful, awful system he runs offensively. I don't know what it is. Scott Brooks is just he's probably a delightful human being. This is nothing against his character as a person. I've just never liked what he has to offer as a coach. Like he did it in OKC. When you have generational talents like Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, you can do that. And I'm not saying that Bradley Beal is a generational talent, but OKC also had Harden for a while. So if your two stars do not do it, you can rely on James Harden even at a young age. You can rely on him to do something to supplement for one of the two. And then at some point you got Steven Adams. You had good people around. Like you had other options.
There's Ibaka.
You do not have that with the Wizards. And I don't know how you can continue to have a job at this point. Like I think I was like 16 the first time I was like, Scott Brooks needs to go. That is like yes, because you could watch the offense and see that for like the first couple years I was just really happy to see them play together, but at some point it was like, okay, it's just those two playing. Like everybody else is like filling in spots and playing off of them, but there's no real like offense here. And I guess you don't need it in the NBA because everybody's supposed to play, but you don't have any like good sets. I would like to see him coach at the college level at this point. Maybe he would fare better with it. I don't want to look up his all-time record, his coaching record, because I already know it's going to make me upset because those OKC teams were really good. And it wasn't because of Scott Brooks.
Let's see, coaching record. Okay, no, that's okay. It is 487, 376.
I'm just saying, bro. Like this is you tried really hard. You had a long career. I was confused. And happy at the same time when OKC let him go. And then I was immediately upset when I heard the Wizards were getting him because I was like, you ain't seen what he was doing on the last job, huh? You just hiring people. Like, I get that there's not like a lot of options, but I don't know how you get tricked like that. I don't know how you get tricked into thinking this is... Hey, let me stop before I get me. But there's much better coaches. They need to go ahead, fire him, see if they can steal Becky Hammond so Becky Hammond can be a full-time coach. And really getting the record books outside of the Popovich getting out of here. Because I just want some new blood in the water. Because
it just occurred to me they rotate through a lot of the same dudes.
They do, and I'm like, unless this dude was really good at his last post, I don't know why he got another job. I can't tell you anything outside of maybe connections that got Scott Brooks there. Like I don't know. Yeah, no, because I remember there was a rumor that there was a chance that KD could go to DC because he's originally from there. And it was like, oh, if we get Scott Brooks, maybe he'll actually want to come. Don't nobody want to play for. Maybe some people do want to play for Scott Brooks. I don't know those people. I also don't know a lot of NBA players personally. But come on, man, it's just not a good system. I wish him all the best. I hope he's happy. I hope that there is something in his contract that if he gets fired, he gets like $10 million immediately, or goes in escrow where he gets like a slow drip of the money. But you got to go, bro. Terry Stotts. I'm too far. I'm a season and a half away from saying you next.
Not for. I'll ponder that after the pod. Is there anything else?
Nah, that's it.
Like I've been avoiding watching like Memphis basketball games, college men and women, because I can't be disappointed if I don't watch the game. And like I just haven't watched a whole lot of other stuff. I have some stuff on the schedule. Um, there because the game tonight between the Pelicans and the Mavericks got canceled because COVID is a thing and COVID protocols are a thing. I'm gonna be watching what Pelicans and the Clippers on Wednesday, I think. Um, but there were a few more. Oh, Wisconsin and Michigan tomorrow. Men, yeah. I hope it'll be entertaining. Oh, Baylor women on Saturday. They're just fun to watch to me. Yeah.
Nah, that team's up, bro. Yeah, I feel like that's a good wrapping up point. Thank you for tuning in for an extended episode of the Traveling Hooper podcast. We really appreciate you sticking it out this far because boy, we went through all 30 teams. We had some fun talking stuff about Scott Brooks. Let's go ahead and get out of here. Calvin, go ahead, sign off.
Once again, Calvin McGowan, hope you enjoyed yourself. If you are watching on YouTube, like, share, subscribe, leave something in the comments. You can also listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts. You made it this far, once again, thank you. I hope you got a lot done of whatever it was you were working on while listening to this. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your day.